Hello twin flames, welcome to my channel and welcome to daily check-in. We'll dive straight into the reading. I still have my sore throat today and actually took a turn for the worse a little bit, but I decided to show up anyway while I have a chance to do that. And then just taking it one day at a time at this point. Thank you for being here. We'll start as always with an oracle message for each of the twins, starting with divine feminines, and today I'm going to be using Moonology deck for this message. Had quite an interesting interaction with one of their subscribers yesterday, or at least they claim that they are, and it's funny because they actually, so it was something around, I mean, I'm sure the person had good intentions, but the way they delivered the message was not polite, not respectful at all. And it had to do with, me mentioning that I don't get as much exposure with my videos lately. And I can see, again, because I have that insider view in analytics, and as creators, we have a lot of analytics. I can see that it's not that people are just scrolling down from my video and don't want to watch it. It's just not being shown to them, and there are a lot of different criteria that this algorithm use. That's a true story and that's the real thing. And majority of my views, whether I like it to admit or not, are not for my subscribers. So thank you to those who subscribe and watch, but I can't really rely just on people who are subscribed because they don't really watch that much. Why? That's a good question. But generally, I know what I'm talking about because I have those tools and I've been doing this for years. But this person decided that they know better. And I thought to myself, she sent me one more, I think it was her. She sent me one more message somewhere late at night. And even before I had a chance to see it, to read it, it was already removed. I don't know whether YouTube removed it or she did. But I do have, again, a backdoor for this because I do get email notifications for any comments, so I was still able to read it. But basically, she claimed that I was I didn't want to hear the truth that she was delivering so confidently to me. Basically telling me that, I'm a liar, I'm this, I'm that. What? And in any case, any kind of truth that we present is our version of the truth. And that is true for anything and everything. But it's so interesting how, as human beings, we, one of the needs that we have, kind of inherited needs, is to be right. Right? And it's so important for us to know that we are right. That she just kept pushing on it. It's no, it's your problem. You just don't want to hear it. Huh? That wasn't even the point. It's not that if I was after views and likes, I would have a different strategy for my channel altogether. I would invest in marketing. I could be doing those things. But A, it's important for me for this to grow organically. And B, for me, it's important that the right people get the message. It's not so much about the quantity, but there is still some kind of ranges there, right? And if it goes below, I don't know, 20 views, then it just becomes a waste of my time, right? So there's still some benchmarks there. Although generally speaking, it's more about people actually benefiting from the content. That's what I want to know, right? And of course, the second part of it is, ideally, I want you to come to me to work with me one-on-one, right? That's where the real value is for this, not just the numbers. Give me the numbers so I feel good about myself, right? But I'm trying to make a career as a life coach, so I want to be working with people on that. I'm still doing personal readings as well. This is how I'm making a living, not the only way, but one of them. And then the other aspect is, of course, I'm doing a lot of different things. It's not that I'm spending all my time doing tarot. So it will actually, deep down, I understand that it will make my life easier if I didn't have to do this every day, right? And I could invest my time, especially because I also need to prepare the look, the setup, everything, the lighting. It kind of binds my time in a certain way. but I could be investing this time in so many different ways. And maybe I should. That was my point, really. That's what I'm contemplating. That's the way I'm reading it. But yeah, like, bottom line from all of this, obviously everybody deserves an opinion, and that's why I didn't even remove that comment. It's like, okay, this is this person's opinion, why not? But I think as light workers especially, and I do believe that that's my audience, you know, the guy that was talking about Jesus Christ and salvation the other day, he was a kind of an outsider, although I'm still puzzled by the time this kind of people spend just looking out for these channels and writing all those negative messages. But like, those are the exception. There are also people who join because they like the way I look and they want to meet me, or they are marketing or SEO people and they are chasing me, so I work with them, so they subscribe for a little while to see if we can work together. There are also those. But the vast majority, I'm still expecting to be twin flames, light workers, people who are on a spiritual journey, who have gone or are going through spiritual awakening. And to me, those people, like, the foundation of it is, yes, taking care of, like, learning to regulate your feelings and emotions, but also showing compassion and kindness in communicating outwards. And if anything, you know, people can always vote, like, especially if it comes to like certain content, right? You always have a chance to, like, you have a variety of choices here. So many choices, oh my God. And that's why I feel like the choice, once it's made, it's because you resonate with a specific person. It's not because you have no choice, right? So to me, it's puzzling that some people just still choose to, even in this community, still choose to write messages calling me a liar or saying that I'm just not doing the right thing or whatever, right? Like, you don't like it, vote with your feet. That's how consumer society works. And this is part of it, whether we like it or not. Feminine, your message for today is it's time to release negativity. I swear I did not see the message when I started my little rant. But yeah, this is true, and I feel like it's been building up. And because of all the transits that we're experiencing, I actually posted, I think, on Instagram, the parade of planets that starts on the 25th. And shortly after, it's joined by Mercury, so there will be like, it's kind of like 7 planets plus Pluto, I think, right now, or on the 25th. And then Mercury will join in shortly after, so there will be like technically 8 planets plus Pluto, because Pluto is not really considered a planet anymore. So yeah, it's pushing people in various directions, facing, you know, the difficult topics that are not necessarily talked about on a daily basis. For the masculines, we have full moon in Taurus. Your dreams need a practical plan. Yes, Taurus is very, by the way, this is in Taurus, this is in Scorpio, so these are opposing energies, both full moon, right? So this is showing us feelings and emotions. This just shows some kind of secret side of our life that we don't necessarily present to people around us all the time, but it exists, right? And for the feminines, clearly it's negativity that they don't necessarily express all the time, but it exists, and it spoils the journey, the manifestation, the relationships. For masculines, it's kind of like having lots of dreams and ideas and talking about stuff, but not having a practical plan or not following through with that plan. I'm going to use the Celtic deck today as the main deck, or Celtic, some people would call it. Page of Cups at the bottom of the deck. Yeah, and you see we have cups here with the emotions. The person is like basically deciding for themselves what their values are in terms of, you know, what's the right thing to feel, think, and do, and what isn't considered right, what is frowned upon. We have all these rules in society, what is permissible, what is impermissible. And that unfortunately pushes us a lot. Although, you know, a lot of those rules are created out of respect, but what happens, because it's it goes into a certain extreme. Essentially, we're pushed to the, like, our negative energy builds up, or procrastination builds up, or jealousy builds up, and we don't have a healthy way of releasing it. So at the end, it blows up in our face. Speaking of which, Two of Swords, you know, like we struggle with, like, am I supposed to be true to myself and express, or am I supposed to have that image of a good person and not present my opinion? I, for once, especially because I have a sore throat, and one thing that this person actually mentioned is that there is a connection, of course, with the throat chakra. But she connected it with lying for some reason, but it's not that. But it is like this topic about expressing yourself, even if it's unpleasant, even if people aren't gonna like you after that. This is a big topic for me personally. And I decided that this is gonna be the motto of this year for me, to be able to express my feelings and emotions, even if they are uncomfortable. But improve and you know, advance the way that I'm expressing it. You know how some people can tell you like absolutely the worst news of the day, and it's still gonna sound like it's something exciting and you should really be also excited about it, right? So I'm kind of in the middle, but I know that I can use more of that learning of how I'm expressing myself with those difficult moments. But a lot of times in life I chose just not to express it, and that was not the right choice. Let's just put it that way. Feminines, your energy is 5 of Wands, clarified by 7 of Pentacles. So yeah, there is, I like that they have dragons here. So it's almost like the 5 of Wands is usual altercation between several people, but this is actually between people and dragons, or maybe even between dragons and people are just watching. Very interesting. It's like, do you really need to be in the middle of that drama? Right? Something goes on. Yeah, another reminder that I heard in a random reading yesterday was the you know, the title of Mel Robbins' book, Let Them. You know, like, there is something going on there, let them do that. You know, you shouldn't worry about it. And that's also something that's hard for some people, but it's important to be able to detach and focus on what your plans are, where you want to plant seeds, right? What makes sense for you. Yeah, maybe you'll adjust this plan a little bit based on what's going on in the outside world, right? Like, I don't know, LA unfortunately still burning with fires, and I'm actually going to an event in May. There's a couple of great folks that I'm collaborating with, and they were considering doing it in LA, and immediately like a dozen of people said, are you sure you want to do it in LA? And it's in May. And they're like, okay, we're not gonna do it in LA, it's gonna be in Sedona, right? So there are like those considerations that could be valid, right? Like, okay, I'm not gonna make my event in LA, although I was planning to do it that way, right? But obviously the situation right now is still dangerous, the air pollution is immense, etc., etc. So be reasonable and stick to your plan. What is your plan? What is your agenda? What do you want? Masculines, you have 3 of Pentacles, clarified by High Priestess. Wow. To me, this card's actually very similar, honestly. Because to me, this looks like a priest, and this is a priestess. So it's almost like a couple. I feel like Divine Masculines are actually starting to see how they have their part in the spiritual work that the feminine is doing, and in kind of like helping the humanity at large. It's very interesting. I like the 3 of Pentacles in this deck because it differs so much from what you usually would see, where it's collaboration of people, you know, it's partnership. But here it's partnership with ethers, with spirit, right? And I feel like feminine is an inspiration for the masculine in, you know, discovering certain things for themselves and finding out what their gifts are, in understanding where they could fit into that picture, you know. Like, they're not just a trophy husband or wife if they're next to their DF. They are gonna do their legit part, and it's, you know, gonna be ever so powerful because of it, because of them participating. Additional question for today is Six of Swords, clarified by King of Swords. So, Swords cards are about thinking, and again, we have masculine and feminine here, right? So, the twins are both considering, like, what is a smart choice for me right now with this connection, right? What is the smart thing to do? I want to be smart with this. For feminines, we see the Hangman and the Emperor. Look at all the major arcanas. Wow. So yeah, they know that, they see that it's not always about just doing. It's knowing when to act. Emperor is about being decisive and taking action. But there's also Hangman here as the main card. It's like, okay, it doesn't mean automatically that I need to be taking action at all times, right? But there are times when you're supposed to just wait and see, to integrate the knowledge you've received and understand what is your strategy gonna be next. And this is the time for that. Wow, masculines have Ace of Cups and Knight of Cups. I love, look at this Ace of Cups, how huge it is. It's not even a cup, right? It's like a cauldron. And it's got all these different runes on top of it. And yet, masculines definitely understand that there's some kind of, it's not even witchcraft. It's like there's like fairy dust almost that has been sprinkled on them, and they just can't help it. They're feeling more romantic. They're feeling more sensual than they care to admit that they are. You know, before, again, because of our society standards, they prided themselves to be more of a kind of tough guy or gal kind of person. And now it's like, oh, I start crying when I'm watching sentimental movies, or, you know, I want to save that puppy that I saw in the street today. And, you know, I heard that my person is struggling for some reason and I want to be there for them. I want to give them a hug. I want to support them. Those kind of things. And it is a little scary, I would say. But masculines watching, please, please, please continue working through this. Continue embracing it. Continue befriending this energy. This is the divine feminine energy within you. And it's really important to understand it, to feel through it, you know, different levels, kind of play with it, see what it's like. And it will help you to be more balanced within yourself. And it will also help you understand the feminines around you better. How is the feminine seeing the connection at this time? Seven of Wands, clarified by Strengths. Yeah, so the feminines understand that they need to brace themselves because this journey is not for the faint-hearted. But what I would say is that the more you resist something, the more it persists. Oh, that's one of the laws. So just be careful of how much you are trying to push the obstacles away, or ignore the red flags, or even ignore what people are telling you. And I'm not saying, you know, listen to everyone, but it's like have the courage to A, let them, and B, just stand in your presence and in your power. And then you don't need to explain anything to anyone or to prove anything, right? I'm sure there are people who are asking you, like, why are you even interested in this person, right? Like, or what makes you think that this is the one and there isn't anybody else out there for you, right? And you feel like you need to defend it somehow. So a lot of times we're not, like, our twin flame is not our usual type, and vice versa. So if our friends is like, that's an unusual choice. Well, masculines, you have Eight of Pentacles, clarified by Six of Pentacles. Yeah, so masculines continue working on balancing out the energy to avoid power struggles in the connection, right? They understand that, how do I put this? In certain ways, they can see directly how the feminine is more powerful than they are. But their masculine self, like, and they are intimidated by it because their masculine ego is reminding them that they are the masculine. They are supposed to be like that power, the person who makes decisions, who calls the shots. And they're starting to kind of work through the process of how they can compromise somewhere in the middle, So it's not them just like saying yes to everything that DF does just because they just can't help it, because they put them on the pedestal. But also it doesn't have to be them calling all the shots, right? For some, it might actually be balancing out the financial situation, right? And finding a solution where no matter who earns what amount of money, it's not a problem. And we can work with it. Whatever the situation is right now, we can work with it. That kind of can-do attitude, rather than starting to pick the fight or see the holes in that plot and like how it's not gonna work. Okay, I'm gonna leave it here. Thank you so much for joining me today. Sorry about the rant again, but you always have a chance to just fast forward through it. I love you guys. Thank you so much. Please like the video. Please subscribe to my channel, but only if you want to, only if you feel guided. And of course, leave some comments. I hope that I'm gonna be back tomorrow with more readings.